Maybe you have the best project in the entire world, but if you don't package it properly, no one will see it for what it's worth. Packaging really can make or break your final projects.
You need to focus on quality, not quantity, when you are selecting the shots.
If you want to check if your trailer is good, watch it with someone else.
You don't need to start with the in-headset recording. Start by showing the environment basically. After that, zoom in a bit, show some details, and don't limit yourself to only in-headset recordings. Hey everyone, my name is Flavio. Probably saw me last year at XRCC jumping from one place to another and recording interviews with Jad. And if the videos that are posted on YouTube look good, it's my fault, basically. I've started editing back in 2017. So I have a couple of years of experience. I'm working at Immersive Insiders and assuring that everything that goes on YouTube, it's basically high quality.
And I'm Jad. I'm a developer at Immersive Insiders. I've been working here for for a bit over a year now. I actually started here. I was a student and Immersive Insiders were teaching us at university. I had actually Ashra and Dinesh as my teachers, and I had a few interactions with Flavio as well. But then I had my internship at Immersive Insiders, and now I'm working here. So that's pretty cool. So I do a bit more on the development side. I do some videos sometimes, and sometimes I give some lectures. But yeah, that's who we are, and let's get straight into the topic. And we're gonna start this one with a question. Question for all of you, so make sure to type in the chat. Do you choose what movies you consume based on the trailer? Raise your hands in the chat if you do. If not, maybe you can do like a 0 if you don't choose your trailers based on or choose your movies based on a trailer. And if you do, just we'll read some.
Oh,
So
yes.
No. Ashra, yes. Ned, yes.
Yes, 100%.
All right, so I see a couple yeses, a couple hundreds. Yes. Hand up. 0. We see a few zeros, but mostly we see yeses here. All right, let's follow up with a different question. So what about the next XR project you'll try? How do you choose it? Do you choose it based on a trailer, or is it on something else? Let us know if you look at the trailers first before you actually try an XR project. What does that mean, guys? It means that the trailer and the thumbnail are super important. Now, this is something that sometimes jumps overhead of developers because it's an extra task, right? It's something extra that you can do. But in reality, it shouldn't be an extra. It should come with the development. And why is that? Because maybe you have the best design in the world. You have the best project in this hackathon or in any other hackathon or in the entire world. You spent like 100+ hours making it. You spent countless tears, sweat, and whatever into making it. But if you don't package it properly, no one will see it for what it's worth, right? It's similar to, you want something to stand out. It might be like a gemstone, but if it doesn't shine from afar, you will not get close to it. You might miss it. So packaging really can make or break your final projects. And this is why we're creating this workshop for you guys, because we want to emphasize how important it is to think about creating a good trailer for your projects. And it doesn't necessarily need to be when it comes to hackathons and when participating in hackathons, but in general, when you do something, it's good to showcase it. It's good to show what's special about it and not just have it there. If you have a project and you don't show it to people, you cannot expect good reception, right? You need at least to show it so that you get reception. So, things we will be covering this lecture. First of all, we're going to go over some elements of good packaging. We're going to show you some examples, and we're going to link you all of these examples so you don't need to worry about that. And we are going to show you how to create low effort, great looking trailers. We won't go into too much technicalities, but we will have some tips, tricks, and we will have also some tutorials that you can follow. At the end, we'll finish with some of the tips and tricks. Feel free to take notes. This is going to be pretty simple to follow along, but why take notes even though this is recorded? Because if you take notes, it's going to be pretty simple right now, and while you're waiting for the recording to come, you still have something that you can start with at least. And we'll start by showing you two different examples, and these ones we showed last time when we were at XRCC in Berlin. Some of you might remember these if you've been there, but let's take a look at these two videos, and I want you to pay attention to the differences, okay? So let's start with the first one.
You win.
Amazing. All right, now for the next video.
Can't help but face one love check. It is good inside. Oh baby, we can't stop this fire. Something about your love. Something about your love. Something about your love. Something about your love. Oh baby, we can't stop this fire. Something about your love. Something about your love. Something about your love.
What are your thoughts on these? Let's start first with a few questions, and then I'll let you tell me your opinion on both of these. Which trailer helps you understand the project better? Let's do one is zombie dancing one, and two is Just Dance. So in the chat, let us know. Two. Zombie is more clear. Two. Dance. Yep. All right. Pretty clearly, it's number two, right? Most of you agree. Two for sure. Explains a bit more about what the product is. All right. Let's continue to the next question. Which project are you more excited to try? Let's hear it. One or two now. One, two, one, two, two. Two, but low key one. Yeah. Both. All right. Nice. Okay. So we have our first lesson here. Why is that? Why do we think this is the case? Okay. Is one product simply better than the other? And the main thing that here I see, at least in the chat, or one of the good remarks that we can make, is that the best project doesn't always perform better than a worse one. Clearly here we have a zombie dancing game that is clearly worse in content, but still the trailer was somehow able to push some of you guys to be interested in it. So but if we're looking at the bigger picture, of course, we have one that you might have now said that you're interested in, but that you will never try. And on the other hand, we have the Just Dance trailer, which is way more high quality, that has reached a million people more, and you would most likely try first rather than the other one. So yeah, the best project doesn't always perform better, but packaging also plays a big role in reception. This is something really important. The better you package your project, the better you explain what it is, the better you sell the idea, the better the reception will be in general. So let's note some differences in the two trailers that we just saw. These are some of the points that we have put in, and a lot of the things that you have here are the same things that we have wrote down. Length, content showcased, audio quality, and Flavio will
explain more about each one of these things like a bit later about the content showcase, audio quality, and how to actually have a good trailer, basically.
Yeah. And I know that you always preach for a good audio quality in trailers, so that's something that is really important. Camera movement and framing, like what kind of transitions you have, all of that, shots, voiceover. In this case, we didn't have voiceover, so to say, but we had a song in the Just Dance video. And then the story, the soundtrack, and the theme, and then the visuals, as you all said. In order to understand how these things should be, right? What the length should be, what kind of content we want, and what these should be, we need to understand what is the goal of our packaging. And the same goes for trailer. Packaging involves more than just a trailer. It's also like the presentation and all of that. But what is the goal of packaging in its essence? The first point is to introduce an idea, introduce your concept to someone. And then the second thing that comes in is to showcase it. Showcasing it is explaining more about it, letting the person not only know about it, but understand it. And finally, and probably the most important of all of these, is to hook. We want whoever is watching our trailer to be hooked in, to want to know more, to want to continue watching the whole trailer throughout, and to want to learn more about the project or whatever we're showcasing, to experience it, so that they don't stop just at the visuals, they stop at after they have experienced your project and tried it out and all of that. Now, in the case of XR Design Challenge, you guys will be submitting videos, and you can add supplementary files with your APKs or executables so that people can try it, but it's not the requirement. The requirement is just the video, but it's good to keep that in mind. Like usually when you want to showcase something, it's because you want people to interact with it later, and that's where the hook comes in. Now, based on these things, here is what makes a good trailer. These are some points that, Flavio and I have kind of decided on, and Flavio now is going to talk more a bit about it.
So basically, a good trailer has a moderate length of 60 seconds. One mention that I want to say is like the official trailer that gets submitted must be 60 seconds max for this design challenge. And you can build a second trailer that is longer and add it as a supplementary material in your submission, basically. Cool. Then key content showcased. What do you mean with key content showcased? It's that you don't need to show everything that you recorded. Maybe you recorded like 30 minutes of footage. You don't need to let in the 30-minute video because everyone will get bored. They will skip your video. They don't want to watch like 30 minutes of presentation of an app. They want to watch like a 60-second video, basically. It needs to have crisp audio quality. Audio quality is super, super important. I don't know if you watched like a YouTube video that had like bad audio quality. I think you immediately skip it, basically, if it has bad audio quality. Smooth camera movement and framing. About smooth camera movement, I think Jad has a tutorial of how to record some shots in Unity, basically, if you are using Unity as an app. And creative shots, B-roll. I will also explain what B-roll means because Many of you maybe don't know what B-roll is, but in the next slide, I will also tell you what B-roll is. Only necessary voiceover. You can use voiceover if you want to explain some things, or if you don't want to use it, you don't need to use it basically. But if you think it adds to your trailer, you can actually use it.
Yeah,
Engaging.
when it comes to just the voiceover part, you know the saying "show don't tell," right?
Yeah.
And the more you can explain through just showing rather than saying, "Oh, in this game you can do this and you can do that." Like if you can show it without saying it, then it's better. But sometimes it does add value to say, "In this game you can do." If it's something like crazy, then you can have the voiceover for it to be even more emphasized. But usually, if you can do without voiceover, it's better.
Also engaging story. You saw the difference between the zombie trailer and Just Dance trailer. You saw the story from Just Dance basically. Also a coherent theme and soundtrack. You need to choose the music based on what you want to tell people. Maybe if you have like a funny application, you need like a funny song. So you need to have a coherent theme and soundtrack, clean visuals, and something that will get a reaction. Cool.
Yeah.
And now I want you to explain a bit what B-roll is in the next slide. So here we have a video from our channel, Immersive Insiders channel, and we have us right here in the left with the A-roll basically. And A-roll tells the story, but B-roll comes complementary and shows the story. So for example, if Ashra is talking about some app that shows like I don't know, a baseball match or a football match or any other match, you can come with a B-roll on top of the A-roll to actually show extra, to show don't tell, how Jad told you basically. And what we did is we built a playlist with some trailers basically that you can check out and you can get inspiration from. You can scan the QR code and you will be redirected to a YouTube link where you can find basically all the trailers.
Make sure to scan that and save that that playlist, or just save the link so that you don't lose that. There's a very good few trailers right there that we cherry picked for you. And these are mostly for games and meta applications specifically, so not necessarily just like general XR things. But of course, you can take inspiration from them, even if you're not doing applications for meta or games or those things. They're still good to look at for understanding what makes a trailer good.
Besides this, I mean, you can watch how the shots are structured. You can watch what type of B-roll they used. You can watch like if they used voiceover or not. So you don't need to copy it one by one. Just get inspiration from there. And as Jad told you, it's like they are games trailers, something like that, but they are not maybe specifically designed to show you like, I don't know, a UI app or something like that, but you can get inspiration from this basically.
Absolutely. And something very cool that we have for you here as well. Last time in XRCC in Berlin, the participants also made great trailers. So you can learn from these trailers. We have made a playlist for you with some of the best trailers that came out from XRCC that you can take a look at. I'm going to put the link on the QR code on the screen now. Make sure to scan that code as well. Go through those. And just a very tiny pointer here. These participants from XRCC had 4 days in total to make the application and also to do the trailers, and they did the trailer in like the 4th day. Was it 4th day or 3rd day, Flavio?
3rd day, something like that.
3rd day.
I mean, they actually had 1 day for the trailer, I mean, because they used the other days for actually programming the app, coding.
Yeah.
But they had around 1 day to make the trailer, and we had some amazing trailers. I mean, guys, you can check them out. We were impressed about the quality that these trailers have. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Absolutely. So make sure to check these trailers and learn from them as much as you can. These were also made in very short time frames, so they should be some things that you can hopefully do similar to with the time you have. Now that we know what we're aiming for when it comes to what the packaging is made for, it's to introduce, to showcase, and to hook, there are many strategies that one can use to achieve it. And some of these strategies are you can find in those examples that we just shared with you. So in many cases, like we said here, referencing other good examples is good so that you can create your own strategy when it comes to your specific project. Because of course, you cannot just use another strategy for, or the same trailer from another project on your own. It might not fit at all. So you can take inspiration and then use it. So just like creativity is a strength, learning from proven solutions is also a strength. Now we shared a few QR codes with you so that you can check playlists, but we'll actually play some videos here for you. So these are some low effort trailers that one that we made, Flavio and I, and another that XRCC participants made from early this year.
Let's tell them a bit about the VR Fruit Ninja trailer,
Yes.
because we made it in like 3-4 hours, I think.
Yes.
Like the recording, the editing, like everything, it took like 3-4 hours. And you can see that we combined, like after you see the video, you can check out and see what shots we used, how we combined them, and you will see that we applied everything that we talked about, like creative shots, song, sound effects, so on and so on. So
yeah,
let's see.
And one small thing to also note about this is that the application was finished, but it was it's a VR game, so it's a first-person experience, right? But in order for us to make an interesting video, mixing with different types of shots with the first-person view, which is basically when you are from your perspective seeing the world, and from third-person view where it's from afar, someone looking at you, we added body tracking and the character so that it is nice to showcase in a trailer. So that's something that you can think about also when you're seeing. So let's see what this trailer is again. You can lower the volume again because it's going to be a bit loud. So just a disclaimer here, and we'll get to it. 3, 2, 1. All right. So yeah, you saw basically we have different shots, we have music that is accompanying the different things that are happening, and scenes that are switching with the beat and so on. We'll go more into that a bit later. But this is again something that we made in 3-4 hours editing after basically the project being finished already. We added the character and we did some animations, and I recorded that, sent it over to Flavio, and Flavio did some editing and made a very nice trailer.
Yeah, just to add a bit of context, I mean, as I told you, you don't need to add everything you record. I had 30 minutes, I think, of raw footage, or 35, something like that. No worries, Jad. No worries. So we had like 35 minutes of raw footage, and we combined it into like 30, 40, 50-second trailer. So here's a good example of don't use everything you record. You just need to use what's super good and what has super good quality, basically.
Yes, absolutely. And let us show you a few examples from earlier this year in XRCC. Because these ones were on another level. Let's see.
Well, nice. First plant? Yep. Don't forget, water it hard.
Let's face it, caring for plants is really boring. So we've asked ourselves, how do we disrupt houseplants industry? Introducing plants that can speak.
Look who finally decided to grace me with their presence.
Give your plants personalities.
It's not like I need water or anything, right?
Interact with them.
If you're going to water me, at least make it interesting.
Give them some love. Sometimes,
You think you could maybe remember to water me once in a while?
the more plants you have, the more drama you can experience.
I'm picking up some weird vibes from that new succulent you brought home last week. Hey, I'm new. What's up?
Did you water your plants?
Sam says, "Water me hard goes hard." It absolutely does. Now let's check another experience.
Introducing Stitch, your sustainable and fun sewing assistant that uses mixed reality to enhance and speed up your sewing process.
I came up with this idea and I was trying to sew a pair of pants, but the whole process of cutting the pattern, adjusting it on the fabric, cutting it in the right stretch direction, it was very messy and frustrating. So if we would have had the app a few days ago, it would have saved me a lot of time, effort and frustration.
This setup is super quick and easy. Simply scan your room, choose your working table, and start placing the pattern pieces of the clothing item you want to make on top of your fabric. Lock the table to ensure the pieces won't move, and you're all set. You can now trace your pattern and start sewing in just 2 minutes instead of the usual 20-minute process. In the next version, you'll be able to upload your pattern via Google Drive. Also, by using this app, you make your sewing process more sustainable. On average, you need to print your sewing pattern on 30 A4 sheets, which accumulates over time and consumes a lot of resources. So get your Meta Quest and start stitching.
What do you guys think? Amazing idea, right?
And
This is
I love
amazing.
how they presented everything, and they presented the problem, they presented the solution. I mean, it's super interesting how they made it.
And just if you think about it, this whole trailer, just remove the music. It wouldn't be as interesting, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the energy that they came with, like, we have a problem, we did like a small interview before, this is my problem, this would have saved me so much time, and then bam, solution.
The story behind it, and after that, how they came with the solution and presented it, basically.
Absolutely. So yeah, these are some great trailers, and you will find them in that playlist that we linked earlier. So after we've been through all of these different trailers and experiences, and us making a trailer for Fruit Ninja and so on, or fake VR Fruit Ninja, we had a few things or common mistakes that we took note of that you guys can try to avoid so that your trailer becomes better. And the first one is only point of view shots. Now we said a bit what these point of view shots are. Basically, it's shots that come from your own perspective, like as if you are looking, it's the default VR mode if you are in VR, but it's first person perspective. You're seeing from your point of view. If you only have that, it's a bit harder to sell a story, to showcase the fun of you using something. So in cases where you can show more, it's always good to switch between different point of views. The second point is a narrow field of view. So maybe Flavio, you can tell us a bit more about this.
Yeah, basically, like you don't want to have trailers with narrow field of view. You want to present the full screen. Also, what I saw, I want to make. I want to add you an example here. I saw people not using the full space of the screen, for example, when presenting the trailer. So, for example, they are recording in a square format or something like that. So they are not using the full screen that they have, basically. And this is a mistake.
Yeah.
I think Yujad also presented them how to record effectively in Unity, I think, and in VR, how to record basically full HD. So you have the full screen that you can play with, and you can show a lot of things basically.
Absolutely, and we'll go over these. We'll show you at the end a couple of these tips that you guys can use. So yeah, avoid being too narrow with your field of view in your videos. The more you can see, most of the time, unless you want to focus on a specific detail, the better it is. Because if you have a very narrow field of view, it becomes harder to explain or to even tell a story. Shaky camera, that's a big problem most of the times, and there are solutions for it, and some of these solutions are also linked in those tutorials that we will show you at the end. But yeah, you know, you don't want to watch a video that's very shaky because you get a bit nauseated. And only an in-headset screen recording.
I have a story for this. So for example, let's say you watch a movie. If you want to present a restaurant and the mood from the restaurant, you don't immediately jump into the restaurant and showing a shot from there. You maybe show a drone shot of the city. After that, you show the outside of the restaurant. This is what they are doing in movies, basically. They are showing the wide shot. After that, they are zooming in a bit. After that, they are showing some details. So they are not jumping straight into the recording. So you don't need to start with the in-headset recording. Start by showing the environment, basically. After that, zoom in a bit, show some details, and don't limit yourself to only in-headset recordings.
Yeah, as Matt says, the establishing shot.
Yeah, the establishing shot. You're right. Yeah,
you want to kind of set the tone before you jump straight into the action. Next, we'll show you a bit. This part will be showing you how to augment your videos and your trailers using video editing. Now, because this XR Design Challenge, the submission is a video, you can do a lot with a video. You can not just have recorded footage, you can have edited footage and effects and so on that you can augment your projects with, that you can tell the full potential of your projects with, that don't necessarily have to be everything that you have developed or implemented in the project itself. It could be additional things that you layer on top so that you can sell the idea rather than just the project, right? So we'll show you here a few examples of things we found on X and on LinkedIn, examples of quick prototypes that were showcased in a nice way. And the first one here is not actually a video edit. It's not a visual effect. It's an actual prototype, but you can do something very similar to it just with visual effects. That's why we're showcasing it here. Let's take a look. So you can see here it's a fitness prototype for a timer. You put basically a destination, you walk to it, and then you see yourself coming closer, and you can tap on the ground to press the button. Now, this is something that you can. There are some tools that you can use to create something like this without having to actually build it, right? And this is what we want to kind of open your eyes to a bit, because even though you can build something like this, sometimes it's not. You are focusing on the actual project, and there's a few features that you would like to show that you don't have time to fully build. You can still do them in VFX pretty quickly. Let's take a look at the next example. This one is fully made in VFX. So yeah, you get the idea. And we will not really go into depth on how to create these. We know some of you will have knowledge to do these, and some of you won't. But it's something that you can explore, and there's a lot of videos that kind of explain how you can do things similar to this pretty quickly. So you can look those up if you want to do something like this. But this again is just like an extra thing that you can do to augment your projects. And now we're going to look at some examples that Flavio actually made.
So basically, I wanted to show you that this is possible only by using a VFX software. And I'm not telling you to use After Effects or Blender or any other software. I'm just telling you that you can do this with VFX. And if you want to prototype something quickly, and you don't have time to actually code it, and spend like 10, 20 hours to code it, and you want to do it really quick, you can do it in Shape6R, which is a really, really great tool for prototyping and maybe adding some features that you don't have time to code. So here, the first video, I wanted to show an example of, like, this is a remake of Meta's video, basically, what we can do with VFX. So you can see that it's like a simple video of Judd scrolling Spotify, searching for XRCC music, and then playing the music. It's a pretty simple one, but yeah, it's entirely made with visual effects.
And how long did it take you, Flavio, to make this?
Like 35 minutes, I think. I don't know how much time it takes to build this from zero, like code this, but I think it takes a lot of time. Judd, maybe you can tell them that.
Yeah, I think building Spotify in like 2 hours or even 30 minutes is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I think you don't have a lot of time. Yeah. And in the second video, I wanted to make a remake of Airbnb app. So you can show, I wanted to show here like some photos of us from Berlin, from Poland, basically, and a map. Yeah, pretty simple, but yeah, entirely made in After Effects, basically. So this is possible. You can try by using Shape6R, After Effects, Blender, any other software. But yeah, it's possible. So let's cover some ways to bring your trailers to life, basically. And we want to talk a bit more about this, like music as a foundation. Judd and I, we mentioned this earlier, that music we can say that music can make or break the trailer. We can say this. Yeah. It's super, super important. You saw in the VR trailer, I mean, in the VR Fruit Ninja trailer, that we used music and we synchronized it with the shots. And you need to choose the track that sets the tone and pace. How I told you, you need to, if you have like a funny application, don't use like a sad song, basically. And about scene structuring, you saw that we aligned, when the beat dropped, we switched to the Canon shot. And we aligned the shots and the transition based on the music. And use the music to also evoke the desired emotional response. I mean, if you are watching a YouTube video and you see someone talking about, I don't know, Mario or something like that, and you hear like a funny song, immediately your emotion gets changed to, I don't know, maybe you are sad and you hear a funny song, you will be maybe happy. So that's how you can use like music to evoke the desired emotional response, basically. Let's jump to the selecting the best shots. And here, I think it's one of the most important parts. I don't know if you know that, but we have a goldfish attention span nowadays. I mean, we have 8-second attention span right now. I don't talk about TikTok because on TikTok, the attention span is like 3 seconds. I talk about YouTube or any other platform, but not TikTok. And you need to focus on quality, not quantity, when you are selecting the shots. And we had 30 minutes of raw footage. We trimmed it down to like 30, 40 seconds. So be super careful when you are selecting the shots. Watch them twice if you need, and select only the best shots. Coolest shots that stand out in both quality and content, basically. And you need to eliminate the shots that don't add value. You don't need to keep everything in. If you see a shot that might be boring, just delete it. Just delete it. And organizing everything is super important. I mean, I spent 10 minutes to organize everything. And if I didn't have like all the things organized, I think I would spend like 2-3 hours to watch the whole footage and the whole things that I have in the folder. So organizing is super, super important. I mean, also in coding, maybe Judd, you can tell them to organize like everything. It's super, super important. So
yeah, And specifically when it comes to trailers, it's good to have a storyboard, right? It's good to know what kind of story you want to tell, what kind of shots you want, and you can take those out of the footage that you've recorded and create a good story out of it. And this brings
Yeah.
us directly to the next point, which is the assembly. Like, how do you bring all of the shots together to make something cohesive and interesting? As we talked before, we need to first set the scene, right? We need to tell the people, okay, introduce them to the idea with an introduction shot, with a what was it called? The establishing shot.
Establishing shot. Yeah.
Yes, something that maybe is a bit further away and zooms in, something that shows a bit more of the outside view of the action before we delve into it. And then we want to arrange the shots in a natural progression. You want the story to make sense. You don't start from the end. Let's say, for example, you're trying to do a trailer for a dating app. You will not start with a happy couple. You will start maybe with someone sad that is trying to find someone to love or to start a relationship with, and then you will introduce the solution, and then you will show the result. You don't show the result from the beginning. Otherwise, people will maybe check it and not understand what is the result even, or what the solution is, because they don't know the problem so that they know the solution, and they will swipe away. They will not look at your project. So it's good to have a natural progression to your trailer. Something happens, we understand a problem, we introduce the solution, we showcase the solution, and then maybe we add a wow factor moment, and we end with a bang or something like that. And of course, this goes also into adjusting the timing to maintain the viewer engagement. We all know, like Flavio said, it's hard to keep attention on something that you aren't really invested in. Of course, for you, the developer who is creating the project, it's easy for you to watch the full trailer. But uh, if you show it to someone else, it might not be the same case. And this brings us to this, or where was it? Later, we'll show this point later. But yeah, and we'll
And
talk.
yeah, one thing that I wanted to add here is about storytelling and how to arrange shots to create a natural progression. I mean, we have videos on our YouTube channel, Immersive Insiders, that actually teach you how to actually build a story, how to create a story, how to tell a story. This is super, super important. So we have everything covered in our YouTube videos.
And here we're going to focus a bit on the features. So you want to show basically the key elements of your project, and sometimes you want to have a close-up on them so that you show really what's interesting about them. You need to put them in context so that people understand you are pressing this button, but what does it do? Like, you need to put it in the context of what is this button meant for, right? If you just show someone pressing a button and you don't show what happens, it's not interesting, even though maybe your button pressing in your project is really interesting. We don't know.
You had a very good example with showing firstly showing the person, after that zooming in a bit, after that zooming on the button, showing how he pressed the button, and after that showing the fireworks or something like that. This was a super good example of this.
If you just show the fireworks without what caused it, then you lose the interesting factor of your feature. You're showing the result without showing what led up to it. I mean, it's not always that you need to show every single step of your feature, but sometimes it makes sense to put it in context. And finally, adding sound effects is sometimes really good to add immersion into your project, whether it be like in our Fruit Ninja VR trailer, where every time you slash something, you add the slash sounds on top of, or you remove the recording sound and you add those slashes yourself. This is something that's really interesting that you can do, so that you don't need to just rely on the audio from your recording. You can get those assets that you already have from your project, if you want to use them, and add them on top of your actions. Slashing the fruit, you add the sound of the slash and the fruit exploding or something.
Yeah, it will take a lot of time to find these sound effects. I know that it takes a lot of time, but it will enhance your trailer a lot, and you will stand out by having sound effects in your trailer, basically.
Absolutely. And as we said before, transitioning the audio, using it to transition shots and putting it to the rhythm is some of the coolest way to actually keep people engaged in your project and in your trailer, and also gets them into the mood, gets them immersed in your project, gets them. You saw me earlier. I was dancing to that "Water Me Hard." I was singing to it. So if something can get you to do that, it's always a plus. And this is a bonus tip. If you want to check if your trailer is good, watch it with someone else. And you will notice yourself that, oh, this part, you will feel like, maybe I should skip this part if you don't see the reaction that you want from the person that you're showing your trailer to. It's always
Feedback
good to have a, yeah.
feedback is the most important thing when you are doing trailers or videos. Like, go ask your friend, go ask your teammate, go ask someone about the video. How is it? If he lost attention, where did he lost the attention? So you know where to cut, basically. You know what to cut, where to trim. But feedback, it's super, super important when you are crafting like a trailer or a video, basically.
Absolutely. And finally here,
Visual
elements. It's super important to brand your trailer, and Flavio is going to tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, you can add. You saw Water Me Hard. we are talking about this right now. They added their logo at the beginning and at the end, so you can add your logo at the beginning and or both, but make sure it's done in a good taste. So they also use the music to zoom in the logo, to zoom out the logo. They used, I think, some sound effects. So use it wisely, basically, and add text if you want to convey key messages or calls to action, and use animations only when needed to draw attention and add dynamism in text transitions or gameplay shots, basically.
Yep, absolutely.
And we have something for you, Jad. Maybe you can tell them.
So this is a logo that you can add on your trailers that you create. This is the XR Design Challenge logo. And if you add that somewhere in your trailer, whether it be at the beginning, at the end, or just as a watermark on your video, we'll make sure to post your videos and your trailers on our LinkedIn and promote you. So if you want to do that, go ahead. Here's the QR code. It will take you to a Notion page with just the asset of XR Design Challenge that you can download and place on your videos. And now we'll cover a few tips that we talked about earlier. We said we'd mention them a bit later. These are tools and tips for you to record your footage properly, whether it be, it doesn't cover all of the options, of course, but it covers a few that might be relevant to you. So the first one is recording in headset in Quest. There is the default way of doing it, but there's also some settings that you can keep in mind to record things in full HD, as Flavio said, and not in the square format that most VR videos you'll find them in. So let's see how to do that. So there's a few things that you can keep track of when it comes to recording this footage in Quest. There's these few settings that are really important. The first one is if you want your audio or your mic to be in there, and you saw you can to access that screen. By the way, what you need to do is go into the camera application. At the top, there's a cogwheel with settings. You press on that, and it takes you directly to the settings, or you can find your way through the settings itself. But these settings, you have the mic, if you want your mic active or not. You have the frame rate. You have the resolution, if you want it to be square or full HD, in portrait or in landscape. You can also increase the bitrate a bit to 10 megabits per second. If you want it to be a bit higher quality, the file will be a bit larger, but it will be better. And yeah, just take a look through those options, see what fits you best, and record using that, and you'll find that your video is way better than whatever the default was. We're going to cover Shapes XR because in Shapes XR there is this cool tool called HoloNotes. You might have discovered it if you've used Shapes XR. Shapes XR is a great tool for prototyping, as we all know. Most of you here have probably used it. So let's take a look what this HoloNotes is and how you can use it. Oh, the audio was from this one. What you can do in Shapes XR is you can activate these HoloNotes, you set up a camera, you record yourself explaining something. Like let's say you built a prototype in Shapes XR and you're a solo developer. You can record yourself through these HoloNotes, giving an explanation on how to use something, or just recording yourself experiencing the prototype, and then you can stop the recording, and you'll have a HoloNote that you can press play on, and then you can record it in your headset as someone else doing it, but it's actually you. So you see where it comes in handy. It will be like almost having another person that is, sorry, it will almost be like having another person that is not you, but that you control to showcase whatever prototype you made in Shapes XR. So if you have a prototype in Shapes XR, definitely consider using HoloNotes to explain it a bit better.
It's so cool to use the HoloNotes maybe when you want to explain gestures or something like that.
Absolutely.
Because like gestures are a bit hard to understand maybe from just text. And if you have like a HoloNote, it's like super, super, super easy.
Absolutely. And this slide here is from, it links to some resources from our previous packaging lecture from XRCC actually. And in that one, we covered a bit more how to record in Engine in Unity. So if you are interested in that, if you're using Unity and want to record smooth footage from VR, then make sure to check that out. It's really simple and nice. It has like all the steps that you need to go through. And the same goes for we used CapCut to stitch up the video together, and it goes a bit into how to basically do that. So make sure to check that out. There'll be both of those two videos as well that we just watched there. So make sure to scan that and save that link. And we're almost at the end of our presentation. So let's take a look at what's next. Now that we have a trailer, there are a few pillars for packaging that you need to keep in mind, basically. And these are 10 different pillars. And these apply to the trailer, but also outside of the trailer, to your submission, to your website, or whatever else you do with your project. So let's take a look. Number one is having a catchy name. A catchy name is super, super important. You saw with Water Me Hard, it's such a catchy name, right? You instantly remember it. You don't even need to think much about it so that you remember it. So having a name that not only is catchy, but also represents what your project is super important. It kind of fits the theme of your project. It fits if it's comedy, it needs to be some kind of comedic value in it. Add that into your catchy name, and you'll see how much your whole project will shine more. The next one is an engaging brief. This is basically a short explanation or a short intro into your project. Doesn't go into the details, just tries to hook the person who wants to explore it further, right? It's basically let's say for the Fruit Ninja video, it would be uh, slash fruits like a true ninja, or slash fruits and become a true ninja, something like that. I don't know. That is simple, short, and hooks. And then number 3 is where you can go into an in-depth section where you explain more about your USPs and what these are is unique selling points. What is the aim, why, how, explaining features, and so on. That's where you can do it. If you have instructions you want to give to whoever is going to try your experience, it's also good to have them there. Most of the time you want to have your experience alone be able to explain how it's used, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to have extra instructions in your page, in your submission. In our case, in XR Design Challenge, you're submitting a trailer, so there's no real guarantee that someone will be trying your experience, but they will be seeing what the experience is through the trailer. It is still really good to have it in case you decide to submit your executable or your project for as a supplementary file for people to try out. Team members and roles. Always mention everyone that's in the team. That's the least you can do. You all work together, so make sure that you have everyone in the team somewhere in your submission. And if you want to detail about uh, um, what you did in the project and you want to add your roles, keep it short and concise. So, for example, we talked about this last time, Flavio, but basically, if you worked on a game and you made a level and you also made the character and you also made some mechanics, don't put mechanic or mechanic designer, level designer, character designer. Just put designer, and then if
Yeah.
someone wants to know more, you can then let them know.
Yeah, don't add the full history of what you did in the all members and roles section.
Absolutely.
You need to add something short and concise. If you are a video editor, just write video editor. Don't add video editor with a bit of knowledge of VFX, so
Yeah.
on and so on. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thumbnail. The thumbnail is the first thing that people see from your video. If it's your video or if it's in your pictures, that's the first thing that people see. So even before the name of your application, the thumbnail is what jumps to the eye first. So I know that people say don't judge a book by its cover, but we all do it. We see something that's clickable and we click on it. So make sure that whatever needs to be clickable is clickable. And then we have the pictures. Make sure to add some pictures, not just having the video trailer, because some people don't want to watch through a whole video. It's always good to have pictures of your projects that showcase different parts of what's in your trailer, or maybe even parts that aren't in your trailer. It's good to have it of the most updated version of your project, of course, not something that's like you took pictures at the beginning of the project and then you add those later and it doesn't match with the actual project. Make sure that you have up-to-date pictures and have at least 4 of them, maximum of 12 of them, so that you don't overload on pictures and you don't give too little. On number 8, it's your trailer, the one that you've been building so far, the one that you've been perfecting and trying to hook everyone with. That's the one that should go here. And then a theme when possible. This is not always possible. For example, on DevPost, where you will be submitting in a few days, it will not. You will not be able to kind of edit, for example, the font or the colors of your page. But when you can do that, it's always good to do it and to theme your page accordingly, or to theme how your to theme your packaging according to what your project is. And lastly, be you, number 10. That's the most important. Don't try to sell something that's not genuine, right? If you want something to be to catch the eye, the genuine part of you that designs it and that comes up with creative ways to showcase it, that's the best part. So don't lose that, of course. That's one of the biggest strengths that you have. And with that, guys, thank you so much for attending this lecture. And before you go, we still have a few things.
Yeah.
But I hope really this lecture has been helpful for you to understand a bit more how you can make the most out of your trailers for the submission, hopefully increasing your chances of winning the XR Design Challenge. All right, thank you everyone. And I hope this was interesting and educational for you, and this will help you with your trailers. Let us know what you think. Maybe later on when we ask for some feedback, let us know what you think about this whole thing, and what you think about our lectures and so on. But thank you all for joining today,
Thank you.
and we'll see you soon. Good
See
luck.
you soon, guys. Good luck.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.